welcome back to the Ernest Faison Show. I love saying that because it's such a pleasure, first of all, for me to be here with PEG RITV doing the Ernest Faison Show. And we always try to talk about things which matter. We're not just on here just babbling. We're trying to disseminate some information that's going to help somebody or shed some light on something that can, like I say, further this process along. And that is still the point, because now you want to tell us your name and where you're from and why you're here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on, Ernst. My name is Joe Golomboski. I am from Warwick, Rhode Island, and I am a volunteer and board member of the American Parkinson's Disease Association, Rhode Island chapter.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. How do you like being a part of that? That is a very powerful organization.
Yeah, I'm truly honored to be a part of the organization. I started back in 2014 with the yearly Optimism Walk in honor of my father, Joseph Golomboski Sr.
Now, would that be this gentleman here?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's disease at the age of 44. Mm-hmm. And it was roughly around 2004 that he was diagnosed.
Can we get a camera on this picture here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he came bearing gifts, and so it was not you. I'm glad I asked the question first of all. The way your affiliation, correct me if I'm wrong, is because your father is diagnosed with Parkinson's. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Now, did he battle this all of his life?
No, so like I said, age of 44, he was diagnosed. It was very slow progressing disease. So as the years went on, he lived by himself. But he was able to drive. He was able to do everything normal life. But as the years went on and as the disease progressed, he started getting more tremors. He wasn't able to drive any longer. And this disease had progressed at that point. So
yeah. Now, is your father still with us?
Unfortunately, no. He had passed away in 2019 at the age of 59.
My condolences.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But on a nice note, for if you can bring some positivity to it, before my father had passed, my wife and I now, we worked with Cherry Hill Nursing Home in Johnston to get married prior to his passing.
So he did see his son go to holy matrimony.
Yeah,
That's outstanding.
Yeah, so when we were notified by hospice, that was the first thing that we thought of, is that we wanted my father to be there for that, and he loved my wife, loved spending time with the family. So we had just a few days, 2 days to prepare for our wedding, and Cherry Hill had helped us put it together, and everything went very smoothly. We had hoped to get married within a month, but if we had done that, he had passed away the following month. So, and it was actually that weekend we had originally planned. So. But he was there. He had, even though he was at that point, his life quality was deteriorating, but he was more in bed. He got out of bed. He put a dress shirt on, and
he did that.
Oh yeah. Well, he was some assistance, but he got out of bed, and he went into a wheelchair. He wanted to make sure that he wasn't, and he he really remained strong to the end. So.
And what's the significance of the New England Patriots there?
My father was a huge sports fan, so and New England Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox, and then one of the best connections that my father and I had was he was a big pro wrestling fan.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So was I.
Yeah.
Speaking about meltdown, it's unbelievable what happened there in Boston and Milwaukee last night.
Right. Yeah.
Some unhappy folks up there at the Garden.
True.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you ever go to any games with him?
Yes. So as in the picture here, we were able to go to a preseason game thanks to the nursing home at the time. He was at Summit Commons in Providence. They had surprised him with preseason tickets. So,
that's outstanding.
Yeah, and it was a great time. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. You got memories that will last a lifetime.
That's for sure.
And what I see with you is that you actually choosing to look at the good things.
Right.
A lot of people harp on the bad things or the I miss you, but to everyone is appointed this day, as it were. So you might as well enjoy it. This is not a dress rehearsal.
Right. True.
You don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
No.
So you might as well try to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Speaking about enjoying, we hope that you're enjoying the Ernest Faison Show. I'm joined by a gentleman who's with the Parkinson Disease Association. He's given us all things about Parkinson. He's even shared some quality moments about his dad and actually going to Patriot games, etc. So that's a very inspirational story there.
Yeah. And because of him, in 2014 we had set up our family team, Team Golomboski, and we've been active ever since with every optimism walk.
So there are walks to raise money, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, yep. So this year's walk is going to be on September 17th. Takes place at Goddard State Memorial Park.
Want to say that again in that camera so the people just will know?
Absolutely. So the 2022 APDA-RI Optimism Walk will be taking place on September 17th, Goddard Memorial State Park, beachside, so with the Carousel building. And we have live music, entertainment throughout the day, and then to honor those still with us, and to recognize those that we've lost to this disease.
Nice. So APDA, American Parkinson Disease Association.
That's correct.
And you got your pin on there.
Right.
Yeah. So you're actually an advocate for it. How long have you been involved?
So like I said, with my family since 2014, but after my father had passed, I wanted to continue my relationship with the organization.
Right.
So in 2020, prior to COVID taking place, I had joined the board and progressed from there, where I'm now on the executive board for the chapter as secretary. Okay. So yeah.
So you're in the decision-making mode.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is the way to go.
Exactly.
To the top.
Yeah.
Right.
And but I'm able to work with other families, other individuals, and kind of give back what the organization had gave to me and my father and our experiences, be able to help others.
I'm sure he's looking down on you. He's proud of his son right now, and that's a beautiful thing. Now, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have one sister. So,
and should be younger or older?
She's younger. So, yeah.
Is she involved also? Or?
She is, yeah. She, very active. And especially coming from this past month, April, was Parkinson's Awareness Month. And we had our first ever comedy show with Funny for Funds.
Nice.
And I was at the Knights of Columbus, and we had raised just under $5,000. So it was $4,800, I believe, that we raised which goes right back to our community. But that was in honor of our father, memory, and my sister and I had run that. And she helps with the Optimism Walk every year as well for our family.
So who supports you as far as funding, money-wise?
It's just individuals, so.
Private donors?
Yeah, private donors, yep, a 501c3 organization.
Non-profit.
So, non-profit,
like
that's
we
correct.
are.
Yep,
here.
exactly.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And those people, I tend to believe, are coming from the heart,
right,
as opposed to these people who are going with campaign endorsements.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly.
They've got a bottom line.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Lobbyists.
Right.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Lobbyists.
True.
That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so the two employees that we have for the chapter itself is one is with our chapter coordinator, which we're actually looking for. That position is open right now. But then our second is an information referral center for the chapter, and she works closely with Butler Hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you've been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and you're not sure exactly where to turn, or you're looking for support, you contact her, Lorianne, and she'll guide you in the right direction. Okay.
So we don't live in a perfect world, Joe, and we know that we've been dealing with this plandemic, right, as we call COVID-19. How has COVID-19 affected Parkinson's disease?
Yeah.
One of your bullet points here.
Right. unfortunately, horribly, just because isolation, and just like most people, but Parkinson's especially, because of depression. Depression ties in very closely with the disease itself. So even though those individuals were, in their homes, stuck in their homes, the organization, brought some light to COVID, where we actually had our support groups had moved over to Zoom, so this way they can continue. Most kickboxing classes were
you got kickboxing?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a little different.
Right? Yeah, we work
kind of shake stuff up a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We work with different gyms throughout the state, and a lot of them had moved over to Zoom as well to continue that exercise, because exercise is just so important with this disease.
Oh, for sure.
So,
because if you rest, you rush, and
right.
if you slow, you blow.
Right.
That's right. That's for sure. And we know that as you get older, you got to use it or you'll lose it.
Yeah.
So APDA, what have you guys been doing to stay relative? Like I said, as the family members, somebody's been widowed or whatever, what have you been doing to stay in touch with the people? Good question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
What's your question?
So we always encourage individuals to continue with different support groups, or with different gyms within the state. So yeah. But at the same time, we offer individuals support through our grant program, and we award individuals $500 per calendar year as well.
Oh, nice.
And it was newly redone, where before it was more limited on certain aspects. Now it's wide open. So if individuals need help with groceries, need help with paying electric bills, need anything, it's open to that. So, yeah.
So all this good information, of course, people are going, this is too good to be true, Joe. Why don't you look in that camera and tell them what website and give them a phone number that they can contact?
Yeah, absolutely. So for more information on the American Parkinson's Disease Association Rhode Island chapter, you can visit riapda.org, and all our contact information is right on that website. And then to learn more about my family and my father's background, you can visit teamgolomboski.com. Golomboski is spelled G-O-L.
Yeah, I was going to have you do it, Joe.
B-O-S-K-I. So it's a tough one. You'll see the information for our upcoming golf tournament, which is taking place on June 6th. And then also our Optimism Walk, which takes place in September. So,
where exactly is that golf tournament being taken place at?
Queenston Country Club. So, yeah, a beautiful course. So
nice.
Yeah.
You play golf?
I do not, no. I have picked up some golf clubs in the past.
It's a driving range. It's a relief.
Exactly.
But all of a sudden I start hearing 4. The ball's going that way. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm the guy that's hitting those balls that are going that way.
Well,
So
I'm happy Gilmore.
Exactly.
We're having too much fun here, man.
Right.
I told you we would. That's a beautiful thing. Also, you'd like to give a shout out to Gary. You can look in that camera and tell Gary thank him for putting this together, because if Gary didn't put this together, we're not having this conversation.
Right. Yep. I thank you, Gary, a bow tie man.
The bow tie man. That's right.
I've known him for a long time now. He's a great guy, and I'm glad that he referred me over to your show today.
Yeah, it's a blast to have you on, man. We joke, but I'm very serious about the Parkinson.
Yeah.
And so let's get into possibly some of the symptoms of a person with Parkinson.
Yeah, so shaking, so tremors, inability to walk. So yeah, I mean it's a lot of body's kind of like, unfortunately, kind of like deteriorating at times. So and each individual is different too. So it can vary, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's progressive too, isn't it?
It is, yeah. As like I stay with my father, when he was 44, he could drive. He can, he used to go to the driving range with me all the time. But as the years went on, we actually had to move him over to, nursing homes and go through those systems.
Is this hereditary, Joe?
It is not. It's up in the air. The studies are still being done on that. So, but it's not official.
And another thing, how about low voice?
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens there? The vocal cords, something they get affected, or
Yeah, it just
larynx, pharynx?
Yeah, and I mean, in this speech therapy, that helps greatly. My father went through that as well. So in this program, it's called like Speak Loud. That the organization teams up as well to help those individuals affected.
Yeah, through my research, I see that America has like 1 million people with Parkinson's and like 60,000 a year.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and then only 10% get early onset Parkinson's disease. You know, like my father had. So it's on the rarer side, but you know.
It tends to hit people after what, their 50s? Is that what it is?
Yes, about around 60. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, you got a while to go, and we don't wish this on you, brother.
No, I don't wish it on anyone, but
Right.
you know, it's good to know that, you know, there's others out there, and you're not alone. And the organization will connect you with others that have Parkinson's, spark groups, and like I said, for exercising classes. So yeah.
Well, one of the most famous people, I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. A lot of people think, put that camera on me. You're watching Peg RITV, the Ernest Facing Show. Thank you so much for being here. I got Joe. He's with the National Parkinson's Disease Association, or APDA. Let me get it right, which is American Parkinson's Disease Association. Got to get that right.
Right.
And yeah, you got to get that right, because this is something very serious. Muhammad Ali, a lot of people seem to think, ladies and gentlemen, that he was punch drunk. But Muhammad Ali, in fact, suffered from Parkinson's disease.
Right.
Did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, even one of my favorite movies, Back to the Future.
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, I got it written right down, man.
Yeah.
And he's living a normal life somewhat. I mean, he's beating it back pretty good. You can tell.
Right.
But I mean, his quality of life hasn't stopped.
Right, exactly.
He got the girl.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
It's one of those diseases, it's just like you can either let it get to you or you can fight back. And that's one of our mottos for my family's team is stand strong. So even though my father battled depression every day, he stood strong to the end. So, you know, and like I said, there's others you can surround yourself with to help.
I'm going to tell you this, 1996.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia, getting ready, Holly can appreciate this, my brother, getting ready to light the Olympic torch. And who goes up the steps? Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God. And this was back, you know, when he was pretty much
Prime.
afflicted, I guess would be the word, with Parkinson.
Yeah.
And I saw him, I said, Lord, please don't let him fall or whatever, or trip or.
Yeah.
When I saw Ali it seemed like God just took his hand and just quickened his hand and he lit that torch, man. That was one of the most riveting moments in my life.
Yeah.
You remember that? You were young, but
I mean, I've seen it. I definitely was young at that time. So,
Ali, that was deep, wasn't it? That was deep, man, because those of us who know, and Bill can appreciate this, we talk about it off camera. My older brothers here, Bill and Holly here, man, I tell you what, just for him to hold that together and just seem like he just, boom, just lit that torch, man, it was incredible.
I'm sure.
You know, Ali, he was able to battle with it, but he still was able to live a somewhat normal life. I mean, you couldn't tell because Ali was floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee.
Right.
And he'd be acting like he nodding off. I remember when Ed Bradley looked like he was nodding off, and they boom, then he give you one of them. So, you know, always a clown prince, almost like Medlock Lemon, you know, like that. So, like you said, the glass is half full. Obviously, with your father, the glass was half full because he didn't settle.
Right.
And you guys kept him moving too, though, didn't you?
Absolutely. So,
Activities, got him out the house, et cetera, et cetera. It was a beautiful thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I appreciate caring and sharing.
Right, exactly.
Women always say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, though. These are some nice pictures, man.
Yeah.
So where do you see Parkinson's disease going forward? Is there funding? Because I do realize it's a nonprofit. Are you guys getting the funding to actually do research for maybe one day this hideous disease can be extinct?
Exactly. That's definitely one of the goals. You know, our partner group up in Massachusetts, they've worked with Boston University, Boston College, and we've worked with the University of Rhode Island with different programs and research. And Yeah, absolutely. One day, definitely the ultimate goal is to eliminate this disease. So,
how far would you say they are on with that fight?
It's hard to say.
Is there a lot of bureaucratic BS going on there with that? Because I know in cancer, if you can put a man on the moon, Joe,
right.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Your mother didn't raise the food, neither did mine. I'm serious. I mean, we're joking, but I mean, you know, it's. I hate to say it, Joe, but I think it's all about population control. And I'm not a conspiracist, but it's a lot of evil doings going on, as you well know.
Yeah, I mean, it's different aspects. That's for sure.
And on my show, one thing we don't talk about is religion and politics.
Right.
But I mean, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, Joe, I'm under the assumption that it's a duck.
Yeah.
you feel me on that though, man?
Yeah. I mean, and the biggest thing too is that more funding, the better. So especially on the federal level, to get the right universities and the right people on this too. So yeah.
What are some of the things that people can do to possibly avoid Parkinson's? Because I know if it's heredity, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Right.
From your knowledge,
it's hard to say because there's a lot of unknowns with this disease itself. But the best thing that you can possibly do, even if you never have it, which I pray you don't, is exercise.
Keep the oxygen going in your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
So if that day happens, you're already ahead of the game because your body's already programmed to have.
Do
that
you
exercise.
find that a lot of people diagnosed, do they become lethargic?
Not necessarily. No, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Your father had a pretty good support system around him, though.
He did. Absolutely. So.
But do you find that a lot of people become isolated?
Yes, it can be, absolutely. So, and that's definitely part of this disease, that's for sure, with, because of it having a deep connection into depression. So, some individuals don't want to go out because they have those tremors and the shaking, and they feel embarrassed, but it's nothing to be embarrassed about. We're all, facing our own challenges.
I was just going to say,
sure.
Yeah, don't throw no stones in no glass house.
Exactly, yeah.
You're watching PEG RITV, the Ernest Faison Show. We hope that you're enjoying this show. This is a show on Parkinson's disease, something very serious that afflicted Michael J. Fox, and also one of my personal mentors and man that I look up to, Cassius Muhammad Ali. So this is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm so glad that you're on sharing information to people so that maybe they can avoid the pitfalls of such and such. So you've got the floor. Just keep talking, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned earlier, April was Parkinson's Awareness Month. So in the House, Senate, and Governor McKee had recognized it as Parkinson's Awareness Month as well. So we were able to light the State House dome in red. And the official color of Parkinson's is gray, but tulip is the official flower for Parkinson's.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I learned something new. I didn't know.
Yeah, yep. So red tulip. So we, for the organization, we had the State House dome lit in red, and we were able to have our board meeting last month close by at the State House, and just to have that, it was very touching. So to say the least. But with that being said, we also partnered with several gyms within the state.
What are some of those gyms?
One of the gyms is East Greenwich Rock City Boxing. So, and Carolyn has done a great job over the years, and even more so over the past couple of months. And she has a deep connect. And the second gym is in North Attleboro with Elite Boxing as well.
Yeah, Elite Boxing.
Yeah, and they're fantastic. Gym as well that focuses on Parkinson's disease, and now APDA as well as Rock City Boxing, they have individual programs that individuals can sign up for to make sure that they're certified to handle patients with Parkinson's. So, yeah.
That's very interesting.
And then one last thing too is that I was honored by the Massachusetts chapter at the New England Revolution game at the last chapter, at the last day of the month. as a hero of the match.
So how did you get that award? Or why did you get that award, I should say?
So it was within my work within the past for April's Parkinson's Awareness Month. We did the comedy show, raised close to $5,000, and this is with the work over the years. Last year, I was the head of in charge of the Optimism Walk, and we raised $73,000. And that was my first year with doing it that large of a scale. We had over 300 participants show up that day.
As I was reading about Parkinson's disease, are there different foods that one could eat to help their state?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing is you have to eat healthy. So,
first and foremost.
No pizza, no hamburgers.
Well, I done lost half of my audience. Look at my camera guy, Bill. Holly's shaking his head. By the way, Hollywood Walton has run 156,000 miles on them legs. Every time I look at I can't believe that. It's amazing. And of course, Bill's done run about 15 marathons. I'm the lightweight, I've run a 10K or 10 miles. So
God bless you.
You're watching Peg RITV, float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that for a reason this time, because we're talking about Parkinson's disease. And I've got Joe on. And one of the men who's no longer with us that you love so dearly, and I love too, was Muhammad Ali. And he suffered from Parkinson's disease, and so did Michael J. Fox. So this is huge, man. This is huge.
Yeah.
501c3,
right.
Nonprofit.
Yep.
Do you guys got any more events coming? You told me about the golf tournament coming up in June.
Yep.
What else is on your calendar as you go forth?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a Lunch and Learn series.
I got about another 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, we have a Lunch and Learn series, which is headed up by our Information Referral Center, Lorianne, fantastic lady. And we had one recently, the end of April, which talked about deep brain stimulation, which we can have a whole show on that. So I hope to be back at some point. But we'll see if we can get Lorianne with us. And but just the more you know, and knowledge is power, right?
Knowledge is power.
So
speaking of which, what's the significance of your wristband there?
Yeah,
real quick.
So this is recognized in the APDA Rhode Island chapter. So I wear this, close to my heart, just with my father. So and it's really a conversation starter as well, as I run into different individuals. So,
nice. Joe, it's been a real pleasure to have you on. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Peg RITV, the Ernest Faison Show. I've got Joe on. He's with the American Parkinson's Disease Association. This is very near and dear. We thank him so much for shedding a lot of light on it. God bless you until next time. You're dealing with the host with the most, Ernest Faison. Take care of yourself. And come back and see me next time.
Okay, that's a wrap.
Bling bling, see the Rastaman do his thing. You see that bling 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 bling. Hey, laddie man, some people have golden diamond ring, driving around with spinning rims, walking down the street.